Param Shanti. In today's video, we will talk about the mysteries of supernatural and otherworldly creatures. This is a conversation between Bapuji and ANANT. ANANT says, Param Shanti Bapuji, today our topic of discussion is the comparison of activity in the material world, supernatural world, and beyond supernatural world, called as the transcendental world. In short, today we want to discuss the life of the people that have supernatural or psychic powers who are called as siddhas. We have heard of and seen many such people. For example, one who is named as Pilot Baba worked as a pilot in various designations in the Indian Air Force. He used to fly the MiG aircraft in the Indian Air Force. Once upon a time, while he was in the Indo-Nepal border, while flying the MiG fighter aircraft on his duty, he lost all connection with the ground staff of the nearest airbase, and he lost all control over the MiG fighter aircraft. And in spite of a lot of effort, he was about to face the imminent crash. Under such conditions, suddenly his spiritual teacher manifested himself inside the fighter aircraft and took full control of the MiG fighter jet, and also landed the fighter jet safely at the nearest Air Force station. After getting down from the MiG plane, which landed safely, the spiritual teacher of Pilot Baba also met all the officers as well as the staff of the Air Force station where Pilot Baba was working, and then he walked away. After some years, Pilot Baba's spiritual teacher manifested himself once again in a vehicle of Pilot Baba and interacted with him. Some years later, Pilot Baba decided to lead a life of a hermit, and he left his home for a forest. Inside the forest where Pilot Baba decided to do his penance, there once again he suddenly met with his spiritual teacher who had saved his life earlier many times. Then the spiritual teacher of Pilot Baba explained to him how every incident and situation was designed in his life to prepare him for this day, which is to lead a life of a hermit. Then his spiritual teacher took him to the great Himalayan range where he did penance for 20 years. After spending 20 years in the Himalayan range in severe penance, Pilot Baba came out and told his supernatural experiences, and many people believed in him and also followed him. We want to discuss such types of things so that we can clearly see the real concept behind the material world, supernatural world, and the beyond supernatural world known as the transcendental world. You have spoken about this subject in the book Our Alien Connection, and also in the book The Om of All Things by Rusbe Barucha, which was written about your spiritual experiences. In this interview, we want to know and understand all these things which are beyond the information given in these books, and many new things which you have been revealing to us now each day. Basically, we want to discuss and understand the invisible world which is not visible to this physical eye, as well as the supernatural and transcendental world. Bapuji replies, First, let me make it clear what these three worlds are that you are mentioning. The material world is nothing but this physical world comprising of the 5 elements, which are air, earth, water, fire, and ether. This is the physical world which is visible to the physical eye of a normal human being. But normal humans cannot see the subtle world. There are many souls who are in the subtle world, even if they are around you, but you cannot see them. In many homes, even the ancestor souls are there in the subtle form, but nobody can see them. Normal human eyes cannot see them, but we cannot say that these souls are living in the supernatural world. We can say that they live in the world of ghosts. But there are many high-quality souls who are great spiritual teachers that have a high level of supernatural powers who live in the Himalayas. What do they do there? Just now you mentioned the name of the spiritual teacher of Pilot Baba named as Hari Baba. Hari Baba is a spiritual teacher with a high level of supernatural power who has a very deep feeling of allegiance to his country. These types of high-quality souls take the help of the body of some good souls to help their country. They help these souls to develop spiritually and take these souls under their guidance. They train them in doing penance in the Himalayas and transfer their spiritual power to them for the benevolence of this creation by making them their medium. So such types of people have generally attained spiritual perfection to the maximum capacity which his or her soul can reach, called as an accomplished enlightened man. And in Hindi it is called Siddha Purush, so now onwards we will use the word Siddha Purush. Many such Siddha Purush or accomplished men exist in this physical world in the Himalayas. But I had already said that there are many such high-quality souls that exist in the subtle world, which is thousands of lakhs of kilometers above the Earth's atmosphere in space. They have a very high level of supernatural powers in the subtle world, and many siddhas reside there. All of our deities reside in heaven or Swarglok, which is in the third dimension above the Earth's dimension. Another dimension comes after Bhurlok called Buburlok. So the three dimensions up to Swarglok is called as the supernatural world or as the subtle world. Then after that comes Malok, which is above Swarglok, and from Swarglok up to the residence of Brahma, it is called Satyalok. This world is called Transcendental World. Not only the accomplished souls from the Himalayas work on this earth plane, but there are also many high-quality accomplished souls or siddhas from the subtle world that come to earth for carrying out many good deeds on earth through appropriate and deserving souls. You can observe here on earth there are many such people who offer water with the power of their mantra to cure the pain or diseases of the various souls on the earth plane. The power of their mantra lasts for some period like 2 to 3 months. Then again, this power diminishes. This is nothing but thousands of souls from subtle world coming to help the souls on earth. So there is infinite number of Siddha yogis existing in the subtle world who have many such supernatural and miraculous powers. I had already explained this aspect earlier, that many spiritual establishments like temples, monasteries, tombs, and spiritual institutions that are run by saints, monks, or Mahatmas are actively supported by these Siddha yogis in the subtle world who help these spiritual establishments to become popular. So these saints, monks, or Mahatmas are always in connection with these Siddha yogis in the subtle world. Anantji says, I want to discuss a Devi about whom a book was written on by Ruspe Bharucha named Devi's Emerald. In this book, it is written that there was an engineer of 45 years of age with children and a family working as an electronic engineer in the physical world. Suddenly, one time, a goddess, also called as Devi, manifested herself before him and asked him not to eat non-vegetarian food, but he did not want to stay away from non-vegetarian food. So one time, when he was on a bike going to someplace, suddenly his leg came in contact with the silencer of the bike and a fish-shaped impression automatically was created on his leg. This reminded him the instructions of the Devi to stay away from the non-vegetarian food. It is also mentioned in the book that all the clothes in his house caught fire automatically to make him feel the presence of the goddess around him and to disconnect him from this physical world and bring him close to the supernatural world. Such miracles exhibited by the goddess made him open himself to the supernatural world, and subsequently he carried out many philanthropic works in this world. Bapuji, you have mentioned many times about Lakshmi, my grandmother, who was also associated with such supernatural activities in her days. Can you say something in detail, as people do not believe occurrences of such teleportation in today's world? The facts about teleportation that Pilot Baba revealed was in the year 1970, and science is still searching for the reasons for all such miracles today. But this teleportation is a common phenomenon in the spiritual world according to you, so please throw some light on this topic. Bapuji replies, teleportation is a very common phenomenon for souls in the spiritual world. Teleportation means switching over from a 5-elemental state, which is a physical form, to a non-physical form, which is an incorporeal state. This is done within a very short span of time, in terms of seconds. You also know that a long time ago, the deities, gods, and goddesses used to come to the earth using this technique, which is clearly depicted in our scriptures. When they wanted to come to this earth, they switched over from the non-physical or incorporeal state to the 5-elemental physical state, due to which they could manifest on earth. And when they wanted to return to their original higher plane, they switched over to the incorporeal state by dissolving their 5-elemental physical state on this earth plane. At that time, these souls had such power, as well as they also had the techniques to switch over from physical to non-physical state and vice versa. Such techniques of teleportation were taught to the souls so that they can work on this earth plane. In one of my videos, I had explained about such supernatural activities experienced by my mother. ANANT says, yes, in the video Our Alien Connection, you had explained about aliens, and in that video, you had mentioned about my grandmother. Bapuji replies, I had practically witnessed all these supernatural phenomena in my childhood home in my village. In Hindi, we call it Jogini, which is a deity. So a deity called Jogini. Initially, she came in the body of my grandmother. When my grandmother left her physical body, then the Jogini started to come in the body of my mother. When Jogini would come in the body of my mother, her presence would be felt, as at that time she used to forecast accurately the future dangers, thus helped my mother many times. I had already mentioned in my earlier videos many supernatural incidents, like sometimes my mother was at home but my neighbors could see my mother working in the farmland. My neighbors got exclaimed when they found my mother at home, and also at the same time in the farmland. Thus, they used to ask my mother, how was it possible that even though you were at home but physically seen working in the farmland with us, and also helping us with our work? Then my mother used to reply to them that I had been in my home throughout the day, but did not have any knowledge what is happening in the farmland. Then further, my mother explained that Jogini mother might be working in the farmland by assuming my form to help you in your work. At that time, I was a small child, but such things happened in my village home, and sometimes my mother used to tell me that a divine vehicle used to come and take her to the higher plane in the Sato world. I had witnessed many such incidents. In my childhood, I had seen many exorcists in my village who rescued many people from the possession of ghosts. Due to my curiosity, I used to go there and observe the activities of the exorcists and how they exorcised or purged ghosts from the body of people who came to the exorcist for treatment. All religions acknowledge all these facts regarding the existence of ghosts and their effect on human life. In Islam, they call it jinn, and Christians also call it ghosts, so everybody is accepting these facts. These souls or ghosts exist in a subtle form in and around Earth's atmosphere. We cannot call the world of these souls as the supernatural world, as these souls move in and around 200 to 500 kilometers above the Earth's atmosphere. The real subtle supernatural world starts in space, beyond thousands of kilometers from the Earth's plane, which we name as the different planes, such as Bhubarlok, Swarglok, Mahalok, etc. The planes beyond the Mahalok, such as Janlok, Taplok, Brahmalok, and beyond Brahmalok, such as Vaikunth, Shivlok, etc., is crores of kilometers beyond the Earth's plane and is called the Transcendental World. ANANT says, Bapuji, do such worlds like the Sato world in our solar system, comprising of such various layers like Bhulok up to Vishnulok, also exist in other solar systems of other galaxies, universes, and multiverses? Bapuji replies, as per Hindu scriptures, there are infinite number of solar systems called as Brahmans. Our Brahmand has multiple layers like Bhulok, Bhubarlok, Swarglok, Janlok, Taplok, Brahmalok, Vishnupuri, Shivpuri, and finally Paramdham. So each Brahmand has a material world, Sato world, transcendental world. Then comes casual world, super casual world, and finally supreme abode. And each such Brahmand is created and owned by a Shiv. So Shiv is an owner of a Brahmand, which I had already explained in detail in my earlier videos. So there are infinite Shivs who are the owners of infinite number of Brahmans. Each Brahmand is nothing but a solar system comprising of planets like Earth, Mars, Saturn, etc. How did the sun and planets come into existence? Somebody must have created all these at some point of time. Like the sun is created by the deity called Surya Narayan. All these aspects I had already explained in my earlier videos. Each solar system is created by a Shiv. There are trillions and trillions of solar systems in our galaxy. So whenever there is a solar system, there are planets like Earth and various layers of worlds like physical world, Sato world, and casual world, etc. When I go to this state of deep meditation called Samadhi, many times I have examined our galaxy very clearly, and I found that mostly all solar systems are more or less similar in structure, but the contents of various elements vary from each other. In some solar systems, the creation is only of 3 elements, whereas in other solar systems, the creation is of 2 elements or even of only 1 element. Depending on the age of Brahma, the process of transformation is ongoing everywhere in the creation, which is also a cause for the variation of elements in the different solar systems. As I explained earlier, that the age of Brahma in our solar system has already crossed 50 years. So here we have 5 elemental creations, but whereas in other solar systems, the age of Brahma varies. Somewhere it may be 5 to 10 years. Thus, the elements which we also call as tattva also differs in the creation of each solar system. ANANT ji says, that means that what science now reveals regarding the existence of multiverse and parallel universe is completely true. If such existence is there, then the time scale in various solar systems may also be different. That means that right now, in other Earth-like planets, in other galaxies or universes, there may be going through a time period called as Satyug, Tretayug, Dwaparyug, or Kalyug. That means here on Earth plane, we are witnessing Kalyug, whereas other Earth planes in other galaxies or universes might be experiencing Satyug or Tretayug. Bapuji replies, yes, today's science is explaining the existence of many solar systems, galaxies, universes, etc. It is a fact that today's science is revealing that a galaxy is comprised of trillions and trillions of solar systems. A universe is comprised of trillions and trillions of galaxies. Similarly, there are trillions and trillions of universes existing in the space, which scientists call them parallel universes or a multiverse. All this is true, and their existence is proved by scientists. ANANT ji says, now, scientists have discovered that some people here on Earth have come from the higher planes of other parallel universes. In other planes, the time scale is completely different from this Earth plane. These people get perplexed here on this Earth as their mind cannot conceive the events occurring on this plane. If a soul who was on Earth 100 years back is brought back on Earth now at present time, then the soul would not understand the events and activities going on in various places like New York, London, etc., because his or her mind cannot conceive the events due to the status of their consciousness. which pertains to the facts and figures on the earth plane from 100 years ago. So is it possible that souls from the parallel universes can come to this earth? Bapuji replies, leave aside those incidents that you just mentioned. I will just draw your attention to an incident which is in our scriptures. This is an incident of how Balram got married to Revati, a daughter of a king during the Dwapar Yuga. The father of Revati was searching for a suitable groom for his daughter, and for this he along with his daughter went to Brahmalok to consult Brahma. After consultation and meeting with Brahma, when the king and his daughter Revati returned to the earth, the situation on earth was that many yugas had been elapsed by then, and they could not find any existence of life of their time. So there is a different time scale in different planes. That's why it is written in Srimad Bhagavad Gita that one day of Brahma is 1000 Chaturyug on this earth. So 1 second in Brahmalok is equivalent to 1,00,000 years on earth. Hence, if you stay in Brahmalok for a few minutes, then think about how many yugas will have passed on earth. Anantji says, but the event you mentioned is about a soul traveling inside the solar system. But what I want to know is the travel of souls from the parallel universes. Bapuji replies, please see our video on alien connection, where I have said that souls have been coming to Earth from various distant galaxies, universes, etc. Even the human souls on Earth are from distant solar systems, galaxies, and universes, and all the souls residing on this Earth plane do not belong to this solar system. Anantji says, do the souls coming to this earth plane retain or preserve the memories of the galaxies or universes from where they originated? Bapuji replies, yes, the memory is there in the souls. See, the souls from faraway galaxies, universes, or great universes keep on moving from one place to another in space, which I had already mentioned in the video Journey of Soul. The souls of the Mahashiv category, who are from faraway galaxies, travel from one galaxy to another in space, and sometimes these high-quality souls also come to this solar system, just like human beings travel from one place to another on Earth. These high-quality souls come from higher planes of supreme elements and then come to the subtle world of this Brahmand. In this subtle world, which is the plane of 3 elements, sometimes desires arise in those souls to take birth as humans on earth to help the humans. But once they come to this 5-elemental atmosphere, their souls get trapped and cannot return to their original place from where they came from. Here on earth, the souls forget their original memory due to the effect of various layers of elements that sequentially cover the original soul. For example, a soul is created from supreme divine light, but due to travel to the various lower planes, it is subsequently covered by supreme elements, then by the 3 elements, and finally by the physical heavy elements. In this way, the soul gradually loses its originality and forgets everything. So the original record laying in the soul cannot be retrieved and remains in a dormant state due to the burden of the impression of various subsequent layers of elements. When a person experiences his or her pure soul conscious state, the soul can retrieve its original records at the start of its creation and all the subsequent travel it made in different planes. Thus, only in a soul-conscious state, the soul can access all of its past lives and memories and escape from the present negative state of existence. That is why, in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it is stressed that one should first realize his or her original soul-conscious state, called as Atma Swarup. Then the soul can clear off all of his or her karmic binding and records and can escape from this world of death and illusion, and can reach supreme eternal abode of Almighty Authority called the Param Dham. Anantji says, In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna also told Arjun that both he and Arjun had already undergone many birth and death cycles, and these details were known to him, but Arjun was ignorant about all these repeated birth and death cycles. Sri Krishna again explained that he had been awakened, thus he could know all his past lives. But Arjun was still in sleeping condition and was not awakened to his past lives. Bapuji replies, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, there are two types of messages. Sometimes the soul of Krishna also interferes in the flow of the message from Almighty Authority by talking in between the transfer of the message. This is nothing but Sri Krishna's intelligence interfering in the message of Gita, rendered by the Almighty Authority, as Sri Krishna was in the physical form at that time. Here I will mention to you one thing, that the content or messages of Srimad Bhagavad Gita was physically told by Sri Krishna under the inspiration of Almighty Authority, so you can consider Sri Krishna as the messenger of Almighty Authority, but not Almighty Authority himself. Almighty Authority has three forms, such as the original form, which is the most powerful and purest of pure, composed of only high-level divine light, called as the incorporeal form. Then there is a powerful subtle form composed of high-level supreme elements, which is active and got all the work done on earth through Sri Krishna at that time. And finally, there is a physical form, which is visible to the normal human eyes on earth. Sri Krishna was only an incarnation or avatar of Almighty Authority, so at that time, Sri Krishna was a physical form through which the Almighty Authority was operating from. So, the supreme knowledge of Almighty Authority, which is known as Gita Gyan, was physically told by Sri Krishna, but under the inspiration of the subtle form of Almighty Authority, who is the main transforming force on the earth plane. But today, the original knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita has been subjected to many additions and alterations by many human souls according to their limited understanding. So, the original knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita by Almighty Authority is not available on earth now. ANANT says, recently I heard in some news channel as well in some YouTube videos that aliens do not have any intention of destruction on this planet Earth. Aliens are against this concept of destruction and also do not want destruction of Earth. They want welfare of this Earth plane. Bapuji replies, aliens are the souls from higher strata of subtle and casual world residing far away from this planet Earth. There are two types of aliens. One group is positive and another is negative. The negative groups of aliens are those souls who have desires for destruction, and these souls spread the vibration of destruction on earth through the human souls, due to which heavy resources of destruction have been created on earth, like nuclear missiles, chemical bombs, hydrogen bombs, etc. Just imagine some countries use one nuclear missile even mistakenly by chance, then what will happen to this planet Earth? Again, there are groups of aliens comprising of souls who are very positive and spread vibrations of peace, happiness, positive transformation on planet Earth and help human species on Earth, and never have any intention of destruction. ANANT says, but you have already mentioned that the souls of these aliens are made of supreme elements. Then how can these souls become negative? Bapuji replies, aliens generally work on the earth by sending vibrations or signals from higher planes to human souls and inspire them to do the positive or negative on earth. When a soul resides in the plane of supreme elements, then it has a positive frame of mind. But as it comes down to the subtle world, closer to the Earth's gravity and atmosphere of 200 to 500 kilometers, then the negative elements of Earth's atmosphere affect the souls, thus the minds of these souls become negative. ANANT says, if negative elements of Earth's atmosphere affect all souls, Then how is it possible that some aliens are positive and some are negative? Bapuji replies, that's why the aliens work through inspiration from distant higher planes away from the Earth's atmosphere. Sometimes these positive aliens come to this Earth for a very short period of time to do some work and return to their original plane. Aliens fear that they may be trapped in these negative elements of this Earth's atmosphere. Thus, they try to shorten their stay on Earth's atmosphere as much as possible. That's why you will find that some fire-like sparks become visible in the sky for a very short period of time and suddenly vanish. ANANT says, yes, thousands of such incidents occur. Bapuji replies, such incidents happen frequently, but hardly anybody can sense and acknowledge these incidents. ANANT says, but all these incidents have already been captured and recorded in cameras, but these events are unexplainable and are not understood by anybody. Respective governments also remain silent on these incidents in order to avoid spread of fear amongst the general public. In one of your videos named Secretive Medium, I have mentioned regarding a lady in the USA who has access to the supernatural and subtle world, due to which she can know many incidents which happen mysteriously. Due to such power, today she works with police departments and FBI in USA and helps them to resolve the crime detection problems. This video, Secretive Medium, was made 1 year back, which is based on various paranormal activities by many people all over the world. So those who believe in Paranormal World should see this video. Everybody wants to know all these mysteries, but people cannot attain a soul-conscious state. That's why nobody can see the life of the paranormal world. We want to know about the rules and regulations in the paranormal world and in the transcendental world. Bapuji replies, just like the rules and regulations existing in this physical world, the subtle world has its own rules and regulations. There is a very strict rule in the subtle world that members of the subtle world should not interfere in the life of souls in the physical world. Apart from that, the natural law of karma applies to every soul and is valid everywhere, even in the subtle world. No soul is allowed to break the rules of their respective world, and there are very strict guidelines in the subtle world not to disturb the human souls in the physical world. But there are some very negative and downgraded souls who enter into the human body and satisfy their negative and unfulfilled desires on earth. There are wicked and low-category souls who are engaged in such unruly activity on earth. ANANT says, there is one experience of Pilot Baba which was told by him that one of his associates who was engaged in the act of penance in the cave of the Himalayas in winter was once trapped under the heap of ice of depth of 30 feet due to heavy snowfall in that area. And under such circumstances, the associate made their connection with the souls in subtle world, and the souls in the subtle world transferred the message to Pilot Baba with the details of the exact location of the associate trapped under the snowfall. Pilot Baba then rescued his associate through the Indian Army by giving the exact details of his location. So the souls in subtle world were working with Pilot Baba, which was told by Pilot Baba in an interview. Bapuji replies, see, Hari Baba was an accomplished spiritual teacher called Siddha Guru in the subtle world and was always helping Pilot Baba. And these Siddha Gurus are always accompanied with thousands of souls in the subtle world. So these souls help the followers of their spiritual teacher. ANANT says, yes, Pilot Baba had given initiation called as Diksha to crores of people, and they are all following Pilot Baba. Bapuji replies, nowadays, whatever monastery, creed, and sect that is existing and spreading rapidly on earth are due to the help of these crores of souls in subtle world who are behind the screen for the popularity of these monasteries. The souls associated with these various groups in the subtle world help these monasteries to do various philanthropic activities on earth. Through telepathy and inspiration, these souls in the subtle world transfer information to the souls on earth in order to help the soul in distress. Thus, these souls in the subtle world help to do good work on earth. Sometimes these souls also possess the human body by entering into them and do many activities on earth that are beyond the capacity of humans on earth. So these souls in subtle world can do both good and bad activities on earth. So they are associated with both positive and negative activity on earth. Anantji says, can souls in the transcendental world come to earth again and again frequently? Bapuji replies, the souls that are up till the Brahmalok come to earth in the form of different sages and saints again and again and create their temples and religious organizations. But the souls that go beyond Brahmalok to Vishnupuri and above do not look down to the lower planes, and these souls also do not keep any contact or connection with the lower planes like earth or even the subtle world. These souls do not even look down to Brahmalok. There is supreme happiness in Vishnupuri. Beyond Vishnupuri there exists Shivpuri, which is made of supreme elements, and beyond Shivpuri there is the supreme abode, which is only made of divine light. The souls who reach Vishnupuri and above never look down, as they know very well that the earth is full of negativity, and nobody can escape the negativity of earth's atmosphere. So such souls never come to earth. So the human souls on earth also cannot connect with these souls who reside in Vishnupuri and above. Anantji says, some people claim that they can see ghosts, jinns, etc. Is it true? Bapuji replies, if the ghost associated with a person wants to make the person feel its presence, then this can be done by the ghost. The ghosts can send the signals and vibrations to the soul of that person and show their presence to the person. So in this way the person can see the ghost around him, but it is only possible with the help of the ghost. So this is true, ghosts are seen by many people. Anantji says, I heard something from a person who is a Muslim, and he was saying that they could see jinns, and there are large groups of jinns in Kaaba, a holy place for Muslims. The life of a jinn is 11,000 years, and these jinns have a wife and children just like humans on earth. As a Hindu, it is very difficult to understand all these things that were said by this Muslim brother. What would you like to say about this? Bapuji replies, it is clearly mentioned in our scriptures that deities, gods and goddesses reside in the third plane known as Swarglok. Kaaba is a place on earth. I have said in one of my earlier videos that ghosts stay in temples and in places of worship and do their own worship there. Anantji says, it is also said that these jinns do their study under the guidance of their teacher. Only these teachers can see these jinns, and normal human beings cannot see them. Bapuji replies, you will find that there are many big events conducted where they say the Ramayana story and the Mahabharata story at many of these places, which involves large costs. Who does all these activities? This is done by the souls in the subtle world. When these souls gather and a desire arises in them to listen to these stories, they inspire the humans in the physical world by sending vibrations, and they help the humans to conduct these Ramayana and Mahabharata story events. Just like how in the physical world the humans come together in large numbers to listen to these stories, similarly the souls in the subtle world also come together in large numbers to listen. Mostly the souls from the subtle world outnumber the humans on earth where these events are conducted. Just like humans, these souls in the subtle world also get comfort and peace by listening to these stories. So you will find wherever these stories are conducted, there is a peaceful environment. So these souls in the subtle world go to the temples, churches, etc. and pray there, and obtain peace in their soul. This is a very regular affair of the subtle world. Wherever humans stay, the souls of the subtle world also exist there. Anantji says, Bapuji, how is this paranormal world? And does the law of karma also apply there? Bapuji replies, everything that exists in the physical world, like rivers, mountains, trees, temples, etc., also exist in the subtle world, but it is all in a subtle form. Anantji says, "You have already said that the physical world is governed by the subtle world, and all of the creation of the physical world also exists in the subtle world." Bapuji replies, "Yes, the creation is similar everywhere, but the elements of creation changes from plane to plane. In the subtle world, all creation is of three elements, and beyond that, the creation is of supreme element. Where creation is composed of supreme elements, there is no trace of sorrow or grief or negativity. So there is only supreme happiness. Thus, the life in higher planes is better, but the law of karma applies everywhere. So the soul is subjected to the theory of karma in every plane, whether the soul is in the subtle world, casual world, or supreme casual world, or in the supreme abode. The theory of karma applies everywhere, and also applies to Shiv, Mahashiv, Param Mahashiv, and so on. What is the meaning of the theory of karma? Shiv, Mahashiv, Param Mahashiv, and so on made their creation by thought, also called as an affirmation, which causes them to lose power in their soul. Losing power means theory of karma, so theory of karma applies to souls at every stage. Anantji says, "What types of humans can go to the subtle world?" Bapuji replies, "To go to the subtle world means going to Swarglok or other such planes in our solar system." Anantji says, "But it is told that nobody can go to Swarglok before death." Bapuji says, "Yes, nobody can go to Swarglok in a five-elemental physical body. Vishwamitra, a sage, wanted to go to Swarglok in his physical body by using all his power of penance, but could not reach Swarglok, and he got hung in space in between the earth plane and Swarglok, which is called as Trishanku. I used to give this example many a times, even though he was a sage of a very high level. Vishwamitra was initially a king, then he became a sage and did strong penance to become a Brahma Rishi. However, he still could not reach Swarglok in his physical form. So how can the humans on earth go to the subtle world? How much penance does the human have to do to achieve this?" Anantji says, "Bapuji, we will stop this video here. We will make a part 2 of this video. I will request all our viewers to see part 2 after part 1 because we still have many questions to be answered. Param Shanti."